It's so good to have you. Good morning. Let's get acquainted. My name is John, and I'm your friend. I'm going to talk to you in this session about the laws of communication. Well, Warren Buffett said that if you want to increase not only your income in life, but if you want to increase your status in life, the number one skill is the ability to communicate well. And I love communication. It's been a part of my life for 50 plus years. There are 5 essentials to communicating. These are not the laws, but in my book on the 16 laws of communication, this is the framework. Because the essentials of communication are very simple. Who says it? What is said? How it is said? When it is said? And why it is said. Those are the communication essentials. And all of them are needed for you to connect and communicate in a way that you really want to do that. And the law of preparation just simply says you cannot develop, you cannot deliver what you have not developed. This is all about how much time am I going to spend in putting my communication piece together. As all of you know, I'm a theologue, and so I started my career as a pastor of a little country church in southern Indiana called Hillham, just a farming community. And I'd only been there for about 3 months until I realized something. The farmers were beautiful, and they were quite simple people, and they loved me, and I loved them. And I realized, in fact, I realized it because one week was a very busy week, and Saturday night, all of a sudden, I realized I didn't have my Sunday message ready. So I sat down, and in about 2 hours, I put together a message. And the next day, I spoke, and the people loved it. The farmers loved it. And that afternoon, I began to have an inward debate in my mind for the next 3 months. Because I had just put together something quickly and taught it, and it was well received. And all of a sudden I thought, I have some good communication skills. If I want to, I can wing it. I can just wing it. I can just get up and put out a little thought here, a little thought there, a little Bible there, and God loves you there. And for the next 3 months, I'm asking myself a very simple question. Am I going to wing it or work for it? And the only reason it took me 3 months is because I wanted to wing it. Humanly, I thought, it's the easy road. Almost always, the easy road isn't the right one. After 3 months, I said, I'm going to work on every lesson I teach. And I began to write them out word for word. And I did that for 25 years. And the discipline of working and wordsmithing and putting it together just made a big difference. So when I'm working, I loved writing this book, and let me tell you why. There are a lot of things I communicate intuitively, and because I was going to write for people, I knew that I was going to have to spell out what I intuitively do. So in the law of preparation, for example, I write about how to prepare what I call your best message. Your best message is, I'm giving you the best teaching right now that I possibly can. I call it the best teaching, the best lesson, the best message. And so I'm working on preparation on the best message, the one I'm delivering at the moment. And all of a sudden, while I'm writing this chapter, it occurs to me that I always teach 2 messages at the same time. I teach the best message, and then there's a big message. And they're not the same. And for about a day and a half, I am thinking and writing, and I'm having this incredible writer's euphoria as all of a sudden I began to think, this is going to help people. So the best message, when you communicate well, you have a best message and you have a big message. And the best message, it's the message for the moment, okay? It's the one that people are taking notes on. It's what I'm doing right now. But the big message is about who you are as a person. It's almost like you're teaching, but you're teaching words and you're teaching things that people are going to take away with them, but you're also living something that gets to become a part of the lesson. And so I'm going to help you here. I'm going to help all of you discover how to find out what your big message is, because all of you have a big message. You just don't know it. But it's okay. My name's John. I'm your friend. And you're about to look at your neighbor and say, you're about to know the big message. In fact, look at the same person who just said that and say, why do you think I brought you here today? Hello, here we go. Why did you think I brought you? Okay, there are 4 questions that you want to ask. And if you answer these 4 questions, you will have what your big message is. And by the way, your big message is not going to be the same as the person you're seated beside. It's not going to be the same as mine. It's what makes it beautiful. It's uniquely you. It's got your DNA in it. But here are the 4 questions. What do I want the people to see? What do I want them to know? What do I want them to feel? And what do I want them to do? Those are the questions. What do I want the people to see? What do I want the people to know? What do I want the people to feel? And what do I want them to do? And what I want them to see are their possibilities. What I want them to know is that they're valued. What I want them to feel is empowered. And what do I want them to do? I want them to apply and multiply. That's Maxwell DNA in every teaching. When you hear me teach, I'm a possibility teacher. I always have you aiming high. When you hear me teach, you always feel valued. My goal in teaching is not you to be impressed with what I do, but for you to be empowered as you leave saying, I can do that. And because I teach leaders, I not only want them to apply, but I want them to multiply. Now, that's my big message. And every time I teach, no matter what my best message is, no matter what the subject is, that's what always comes through. So that is the law of preparation.